Buff Nation, welcome into DMVR Buffs Primetime. We are, of course, presented by the American Raptors. If you didn't get the ticket you wanted as an elite athlete, check out the opportunities at Infinity Park. Rugby just may be your next ride. My name is Jake Shwantiz. RK around traveling the country, Andre Simone joining me today. My guy, what is up, Dre? Haven't seen you since I left Denver. How was your Christmas, dude?
Lovely Christmas, great time with the family. You know, when you've got a little one, Christmas becomes extra special and lots of fun. And yeah, man, I'm excited you got to see the family yourself. How is it over there?
It's been fun. It's been very chill, very relaxing. I think I need this little break before chaos ensues on National Signing Day and thereafter.
Yeah, another calm before the storm time for you, huh?
Yes, exactly.
Just keeping tabs on Valdosta, Georgia right now.
Valdosta, Georgia, Jackson State. There's a bunch of recruits from the Miami area that have been
love this.
Been causing some people to shoot me some DMs. So it's been entertaining.
Great.
Let's get into it though.
Are you bearing the lead that we're matching shirts?
We are matching shirts. This is the second time I matched this week. I matched RK on Monday with the primetime hoodies. So some great timing going on.
Yeah, I love this for us. Yeah. DMVRlocker.com, baby. Let's go.
Yes, sir. Plug it.
Yeah.
Quite a few things to get to today. We're going to start off with the news, though. We don't have too much on the CU side of things, Coach Prime side of things. We'll talk about Ed Reed in just a bit, and then we'll do our Pac-12 quarterback draft.
Love it.
Dre, we start off. Alejandro Mata, kicker from Jackson State, is joining CU. Entered the portal on the 19th, committed to CU 2 days ago. Last year in his freshman season, he made 12 of 13 field goals, 50 of 51 PATs. Both misses were blocked.
Okay.
I don't know. Cole Becker was a solid guy last year. I don't know. Do you have kicker analysis for me on Alejandro Mata or just the kicker position in general?
I don't, but there are few places better to transfer to as a kicker than Colorado. You're going from that thick air in Jackson State, that sippy air, and to, some nice dry high altitude air. Do we have his longest at 38 yards? 38 yards. 30. Okay. Mm-hmm. Okay, we're gonna. I think at altitude that's 45 easy, and we'll see how far we can extend it right now. How many Jackson State transfers is that? Do you have that handy?
I can count 3, 4, 5 so far, I believe. Shedeur, Tyler Brown, Travis Hunter, Cameron Silman Craig, and now Alejandro Mata.
Okay. Mata joins a pretty elite group right there.
He does. The Buffs also got a punter from the transfer portal a few days ago, so they're completely revamping the specialists.
Yep, I saw that. Love that, and plenty of eligibility for Mata. So come on now, gotta get excited about that. Lock it in.
Yes, sir. I think that's enough specialist talk today. Moving on. Class of 2024, 4-star defensive lineman Eric Brantley Jr., as you mentioned, from Valdosta High School in Valdosta, Georgia. He's listed at 6'2", 250 pounds. I believe he and Omar White, the previous 4-star guy to commit to CU on the 26th, have a bit of a relationship. When Eric Brantley committed, Omar White, I believe, quote tweeted him, just like kind of encouraging and cheering him on. Mm-hmm. Brantley is a 4-star prospect, only according to On3. 247 Sports has Brantley listed as a 3-star, same in their composite rankings. He did have, 25, 24 offers, though.
Yeah. Lots of SEC offers, ACC offers. He's 6'2", 250 at like 17, 18. Mm-hmm. Yikes. And yeah, a teammate of Omar White, right? Who's a much bigger boy.
I believe so, yeah. They go to the same high school, so obviously they play on the same football team. Omar was really hyped when Eric Brantley committed. And I'm sure a lot of fans out there are hyped because Coach Prime hasn't exactly gotten a lot of commitments from offensive linemen, defensive linemen, just
Yeah.
trench players.
Yeah.
Now he's starting to build that. Is that a concern when you see that early on that a coach is just, I mean, we knew that though. We knew that coming in that
Automatic.
Coach Prime's pull was the skill players.
Of course.
Just your analysis on that, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, just seeing the recruiting classes from Jackson State and even what Deion was saying, Coach Prime, you knew that on the perimeter they would be like set. Like for one, the guy can evaluate and recruit the hell out of the secondary. So you knew that was set. Just this track record at Jackson State and even the early commits, you knew wide receiver was going to be fine. And obviously Edwards and Shedeur, you feel a lot better about your backfield. And I mean, I think just in general, when Coach Prime hadn't even been hired, I don't know that I was talking to you about this so much, but I was talking to Henry about this. And it was just like, at USC, the other places that go transfer heavy, the O-line and D-line to a lesser extent, but I think primarily the O-line and D-line are going to be the units that are going to just fall behind a little more because those guys are going to be less inclined to transfer. Because, like if you're an O-lineman who's gone through the motions and has started to really modify their body, take that leap in development, you're starting to gel with a unit, you feel comfortable with your O-line or D-line coach, it's just a lot easier to like, hey, man, we're at a good place. The progression is nice. Why would I move? Why would I change things up? And I think just in general, like I haven't gone like through the rankings to see how much this really correlates directly, but I would venture to say if you went through those top 50 lists, the trenches are going to be kind of light, and it's going to be a lot more skill positions and back seven on the defensive side. And that's just part of the deal. And that's where Coach Prime's ability to recruit coaches is really going to come in handy because you just need guys to come in, develop. Strength and conditioning is going to be huge. I mean, that's something that, like, last couple of years at schools like Michigan, they rave about their strength and conditioning coach. They actually tried to get him nominated for the award that goes to the top assistant coach in the country. Cristobal, he's got the little pencil mustache strength and conditioning coach that's been roaming the sidelines for him at Oregon, Miami. Like, those guys are really important, and that's going to be like huge for CU in taking that next step and developing the trenches. And I'm more encouraged, like, I saw they've at least gotten 3 O-line transfers from kind of smaller schools,
Yeah, JUCO.
And I mean, even last year they had a Bama transfer on the line and what have you. Like, you will find those guys. I'm very encouraged that they're starting to get, though, these higher end recruits, some guys that you can really get in the building, develop 2-3 years, and then by the time they're upperclassmen, really start to pay dividends for you. Omar White's really exciting on that end. I mean, geez, I'm talking about 6'2", 250 for Brantley at that age. To be 307 and 6'3" is just insane. And, I mean, it's like, look at the schools that we're recruiting him. It's a lot of playoff schools. And that fills out. And that's a guy who can, at that size, just size alone. I don't have to see the huddle tape yet. He's going to be able to give you some snaps early at that size.
Oh, yeah. Alone. For sure. Just going back to your point about the players, if you go and look at like the top 50, top 100, and how many of them are skill players compared to trench players, we talk about this on the draft pod, man. I mean, we've seen it in many ways throughout college football, how this 7-on-7 kind of elite 11 type high school, I don't really want to say culture, but this kind of development we've seen just in that department has really already shown its way through the ranks, through the college football ranks, through the draft, through the NFL. It's just how it is now. Let's talk a little bit more about some of these 2024 guys. As I mentioned, Coach Prime has been going after some studs, some absolute beasts. This is from 2024 4-star athlete Boo Carter. He has CU in his top 5 schools. We talked about him a little bit a few weeks ago, but this is just relevant to the conversation. Ohio State, Oregon, CU, Tennessee, Michigan in his top 5.
Not bad.
It's pretty crazy to see CU being mentioned with those teams now.
Yeah.
There's also Jawan Johnson, another 4-star athlete in the 2024 class. He narrows his recruitment down to 4 schools, 3 SEC schools, and the CU Buffs, Dre.
Wow.
Florida, Georgia, LSU, and the Buffs.
Outstanding.
Insane stuff. We have one more, I believe, too. 5-star linebacker in the 2024 class. TJ Cappers is down to 5 schools. He has singled it down to Louisville, Georgia, CU, Miami, and USC. He is the number 1 linebacker in next year's class.
Wow. Incredible. I mean, those athletes are really exciting too. Like, I always love me a good athlete, being able to mold them. Again, that plays into the coaching, you know, being able to bring guys in and plug and play them for sure. And I mean, the other thing with trench play that we haven't mentioned is I think the tight end renaissance we're seeing across all levels of football plays into that as well. I mean, you know, how like just these outstanding 6'5", 250-pound athletes. You think you could add 15 pounds and have them play tackle? Like, shit, come on.
We're getting there.
Yeah. So, and that's one of the nicest additions. I love that Arkansas State, that tight end, man. Just insane.
Yeah. Shedeur Sanders, he's going to be a lot of fun. Tim Brewster trying to turn CU into tight end U. We'll see how it goes. Off to a good start, though. Before we move on, I want to tell you guys about our friends over at Breckenridge Brewery. Breckenridge Brewery has collabed with Never Summer to release their newest beer, the Fun Slinger Lager. It's light, crushable, perfect after a day on the slopes or here at the DMVR bar, or, well, not here. We're closer to where Dre is at the DMVR bar.
Yes.
You can check out the beer locator at www.breckbrew.com to find a Fun Slinger near you, a Mountain Beach Sour, whatever your favorite Breckenridge Brewery beer is. Also, shout out to our friends at Illegal Pete's.
Boom. Are you jonesing for Illegal Pete's? It's been a week since you had Illegal Pete's for lunch.
You have no idea. It's been a little bit less than a week. We had Illegal Pete's at the Christmas party last Friday. Good point. So I got to fix in there.
Those Takis were fire at the party. Just so good. And their bowls, man, are just delicious. They're the homies too. Like, you go there, they hook you up. They treat you well. Their food is immaculate. Illegal Pete's, really a great deal. And I think if you spend $100 on a gift card, you can score an extra $25 for free. It's kind of the gift that keeps on giving in that way, you know. Also, great deal. $100 of food and you get $125 worth. So boom.
Yes, sir.
Lock it in. Illegal Pete's. Check them out. They are great. They're great. I almost cursed there, but I'm not going to, Jake. I know that Coach Prime brings in a more wholesome audience, so I didn't want to go that route for you. It's okay. I can hear you. You're with me. You're with me. You're locked in, buddy. Yeah.
Okay. I was like, not right now.
Yeah.
Moving on, though. Some relevant news in the SWAC that I feel like we should touch on and talk about. Ed Reed was hired as the head football coach at Bethune-Cookman. Bethune-Cookman, a school in Daytona Beach, Florida.
Yeah.
I just thought this was relevant to talk about. For the main thing that popped into my head was when Coach Prime was hired at CU. A lot of folks, SWAC folks in the Black community, HBCU community, maybe not a lot, but there was a vocal minority that were upset at Coach Prime's decision to leave, to go to CU, to go west. But man, I think this is what Coach Prime really set out to do when he went to Jackson State, is open the door at these other HBCUs for other guys like him who have been there and done that, like Ed Reed. Bethune-Cookman has been a school that's really struggled. They haven't had a winning season since 2019. I think they've only won 2 games since 2020. Their season was canceled then. But man, how massive is this? Another football superstar, football legend going to an HBCU.
so many things to unpack. You know, he does have some coaching chops, in some ways more coaching chops than Coach Prime did when he started this. Though, you know, it's all relative because Coach Prime was really involved in recruiting at those high-end academies and getting guys speeds up. But, you know, Ed Reed has coached in the NFL as an assistant for the Bills and then been involved at his alma mater before Cristobal took over at Miami. And that's where the location of where he's at is really key, because it's in one of those key areas in the Miami metro that, like in the old great U days, that's where you could really just load up on talent. Most of your roster could be from that surrounding area, and you just had absolute dogs, some of the great teams in college football history. You know, Miami really takes off when Deion's doing his thing with the Knowles over there. And then kind of comes to an end of that real like high-end peak, right when Ed Reed leaves. You know, Ed Reed, his backup is Sean Taylor, and a few years later, the U's never really quite the same. So with those coaching chops and the understanding of what you can do with just the local recruiting, I think could be huge. And I think, you know, I know this was a thought, and we'll see if it ever bears out, and we certainly don't hope so here locally. But there was always a thought that Deion's maybe not being groomed, but that he's taken these steps to eventually be the Knowles head coach. And it feels like Ed Reed, in a similar way, is kind of taken some delicate steps to maybe phase into, like, when the time comes, if things don't work out for Cristobal, what have you, a guy like Ed Reed can jump in and be a head coach at a superpower like that. Like CU, you know, I mean, former great programs that have natties, that have Heismans. And so it's really intriguing. You love to see it. Honestly, frankly, I hate that it's taken so long. You see it in the NBA where guys like Steve Nash get immediate chances. You can name a ton in the NBA and in basketball in general. It's nice to see that we're kind of opening that door a little more. It just makes so much sense in the NIL era where these guys, these names carry so much weight, especially Ed Reed is not the national name Coach Prime is. He just isn't. Coach Prime is special and very unique in that. But there in that Miami area, yeah, I think Ed Reed kind of is that kind of name, and I'm really intrigued to see it, man. I mean, personnel, like I think the comps are very like broad. They fit if you're just looking at it at face value. Once to start to dig in, they are very different personalities, personas, just their involvement with media, all that. I mean, Ed Reed is in no way Coach Prime. So he's going to have some different challenges, but it's also one of those programs where like things can't get worse than that, right? Like you just said, they haven't won much lately. So I mean.
Exactly. Yeah, no, well said. It's just exciting, man. I got to watch Ed Reed's career. Deion was a little bit before me, so he was just on the tail. I was just on the tail end of that. But Ed Reed, man, I mean, one of my favorite football players of all time, just insane intelligence, insane instincts. It's just awesome to see these Hall of Fame caliber players getting these shots at being coaches, because if all these other people are getting calls, if the Jeff Saturday types are getting calls, why not bring in the legends and actually try and get some people in who have been there and done that, as we've said.
Damn straight, man. And it's nice to see that this coaching money might be competitive with this TV money. Because I mean, part of football is like the big names, they're going to TV because the money's there. You know, I mean, and that's what Coach Prime was doing for the last decade or so before he kind of believed in himself, and he's got the ability to juggle both things. And it's just exciting, man. It's exciting that CU has gone this route and it's already paying dividends, and so exciting. It's exciting that other programs, even if it's just in the HBCU, are starting to make that jump and giving these guys those opportunities. Because I mean, I just think in this new world of college football, that could really pay dividends. And then, I mean, shit, we forget like guys like Hugh Freeze. Like Hugh Freeze started his career as like a volleyball coach, you know, like
Yeah.
why does that guy get, you know, a route to coaching at this level, but a legend like Ed Reed can't? Like, come on, get out of here, you know, like let's get real. So no, man, it's exciting for the progression of the sport, plain and simple.
Yep, exciting for everyone involved. Let's move on. Let's have some fun. Yeah. Let's throw the board up. Let's get this draft ready to go. We'll do a few rounds, and we got to do one more break after the draft. Then we'll get to your guys' questions on the day. Whenever you're ready, who's first in the graphic? I'm first in the graphic. I guess I'm going first overall then.
Snake draft,
yeah, snake draft.
Okay.
So I go,
Okay.
you go twice, and then I go twice, and then you go twice, and then we'll finish out the 5th round.
Okay. It's a nice spot to be with this first pick, I gotta say. It's a nice spot to be. Yeah. Good job.
Yeah. Thank you very much. I tried really hard for this. Well, let's just get it out of the way. First overall pick, Caleb Williams, the Heisman Trophy winner, just an absolute stud in the conversation to be the top player selected in the 2024 class. We've been on him for a while, Dre, and I don't know if I've ever been as impressed by a college quarterback as I was by Caleb Williams this last year. Just an absolute stud. Sorry to take the easy number one from you, but it had to be done.
You got to. It's the name of the game. Yeah, ever since that Red River rivalry where he comes in and has to spot Spencer Rattler, he's just been insane. What an insane journey for these Lincoln Riley quarterbacks. Like, he always had success with the transfers. He finally gets that tippy top recruit, and it's Rattler, and it doesn't quite work out. It's the other tippy top recruit that's backing him up that pans out, but then he becomes a transfer. It's crazy. The Patrick Mahomes comp hasn't really come to bear thus far, even though Mahomes has been in the NFL like 5 years now. And yet with Caleb, it just slaps you in the face. It's insane. His off script stuff, his arm strength is just off the freaking charts. So yeah, very nice first pick. And what I'm concerned about most is the turn here for you. I'm not going to be disappointed though to take Michael Penix Jr. second pick. The guy is an absolute winner at Indiana already. We saw just what an incredible quarterback he is with a historic run for the Hoosiers 2 years ago. Comes and does it in year one for Washington. Washington extremely lucky that he's going back to school. He's just, man, so strong in the pocket, so composed, really like one of the most advanced college guys and going through their progressions. Plenty of arm strength. That delivery is a little slow. But you know, he's
a little telegraphed.
A little telegraphed. He's got that strength. He's got enough mobility, kind of similar to Caleb Williams, to be a factor in the red zone, or, you know, convert with his legs, and not, you can't just ignore him as a runner, plain and simple. And I mean, shoot, like when he's playing quarterback at a healthy clip, his teams are ranked in the top 25. Like, there are a few guys that have a higher floor than Penix Jr. does at quarterback in the college ranks. So that to me was an easy one. And frankly, I kind of felt like there was an easy consensus top three, Jake. And then the discussion gets really fun and interesting after that. So pencil in Cam Rising, another just winner at the college level. The best dual threat quarterback in the league.
Sneaky addition for that I don't know, nomination, I guess.
yeah, exactly. You might not think, but he's an extremely good runner. He's got the size. Outside the hashes, maybe not the greatest quarterback in the world. He'll miss some. Maybe the accuracy isn't like tippy top. I think a significantly like lower tier of ceiling than the other guys we've talked about and some of the other guys we're about to talk about. But Cam Rising has an immense floor, just such a beast as a dual threat, and underrated as a passer. He is like one of the best read option quarterbacks and just getting that little quick slant out. And he lives down the seam. I mean, there's a reason those tight ends at Utah are so good. He is very accurate over the middle of the field, very accurate down the seam. His accuracy, their ability to lead his wide receivers is tippy top. These are some great quarterbacks. Like the Pac-12 has nothing to envy any other league, especially when it comes to these three vets.
Yeah, I think there was a clear cut top tier, Caleb Williams by himself, and then there was a tier below that, Michael Penix and Cam Rising, just two veterans who have been doing it for so long and know it. Everyone else, there's another tier after that.
Yeah,
I'm gonna go Shedeur Sanders here. Give him to me.
Yeah. Can I get a graphic of me being put in a body bag and having lost the pull already? Like, dude, you can't do it. You can't just take the reigning Heisman and Shedeur just back to back, like 1-2. I'm dead in the water. No, honestly though, this kind of was like this next tier. You could make some great cases for other quarterbacks. I think in some ways you could argue Shedeur's hype as a recruit as good, if not higher, than anyone else in this next tier. And I mean, what he's shown so far at the collegiate level can't really be messed with.
Right. Coming from Jackson State, of course, I did a film room on him a few weeks ago. The bug bit me then. His touch and accuracy, ball placement, out of control. He's going to have an amazing wide receiver core. Jordan Tyson is expected to come back sometime October, November-ish. We'll see if Travis Hunter is full-time wide receiver or if he's going to be more on the other side. But the chemistry that those two have off the field and on the field, I think that's worth investing in and exploring and just trying to see how far that can go, how far it can take this team, honestly, because looking at it, Caleb's up there. He's got some dogs. Penix is up there. He's got some dogs. But, man, Shedeur Sanders, Travis Hunter might be, outside of those guys, the best like wide receiver quarterback duo in the conference. When they are on, it's almost impossible to beat.
Wow, that's a great argument to be made. I mean, it's kind of true. Like on paper, and what you've seen on film at the collegiate level, you're not that far off. Honestly, what's crazy to me is you didn't even mention Shedeur's poise. That's what stands out to me, man. Is that poise, that being able to gain an extra half step or being able to gain an extra angle to create a little more torque. Arm strength and how the arm strength looks at the Pac-12 level will be really interesting. But when I see him having a, pump a little extra when he's leaning on his back foot, I see some sneaky strength. And when he has to get it to push it to the sidelines, outside the hashes, I see it there too. So maybe you're not seeing, like I'm very intrigued by Shedeur and his upside. Snake draft got me, man. Like there was a consensus top 3 tier. Shedeur was the goal to come away with. I won't even spoil the one guy I would have been like Shedeur was on that cusp of 4th or 5th quarterback for me. And I won't spoil who the other one would be in hopes that he can drop to me to the 6th pick here.
Love to hear that. Before I get to my next pick, I want to tell you guys about our friends over at Green Mountain Dental.
Spoiler.
They've been a supporter of DMVR since the very beginning. We've had countless fans and our own staff convert to Green Mountain Dental and never look back.
Yep.
They're located just 15 minutes from downtown Denver and Lakewood. Dr. Ben and his team have you covered from everything: regular cleanings, orthodontics, wisdom teeth. Tell the team that DMVR Sports sent you and get a $300 discount for a full orthodontics treatment for new patients. If you mention DMVR Sports, you get a free set of bleach trays. That's a $350 value with a new patient cleaning, exam, and x-rays. To make an appointment or find more information, check out their website at greenmountaindentalgroup.com today.
And shout out DraftKings
Yes.
Sportsbook. Yes, it's bowl season, baby. The real bulls, the bulls that matter are coming. I'm not going to let that UNC Oregon over not hitting by like 20 points ruin it for me. Screw you, Bo Nix. You will never be drafted on my team. Let that be clear.
UNC plus 13.5 was a lock. How was that line so massive? I gave that out twice this week. That was a ridiculous line from the get-go.
What was the book smoking on that one? Both the total at 76.5 and that line just stunk to high heaven.
Yeah.
It was terrible. If you're a new user, though, on the King of Sportsbooks, the best place to be for all of bowl season, especially this weekend, man. It's
Let's go.
it's
Let's
Big
go.
Six time. You can bet any new customers can place a $5 pregame money line bet on any college football team to win and get $150 in free bets. If they do, that's on top of all their great promos, boosts, risk-free bets, you name it. They've got you covered. They are the best premier sportsbook in the world. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now. Use that code DMVR. New customers place $5 bet pregame on any college football team to win and get $150 if your team does. That's code DMVR only at DraftKings Sportsbook. Minimum age and eligibility restrictions apply. See show notes for details.
My man. Well done.
Ooh, thanks.
Back to the draft. Third round here. I find myself in a bit of a pickle, Dre.
Yeah.
There's a guy who I think a lot of people would take with this next pick. He's not my favorite, though, we'll say.
Yeah.
So we're taking JDL from University of Arizona. Our guy, Jaden DeLaura, is going next. Sorry, Dre. I set you up. I'm sorry.
You're really destroying me. Yeah. I feel like I got set up here, man. It really does feel like that. But I mean, make the case for him. He's the one guy I was torn with between him and Shedeur. Like,
yeah.
In some ways, he's funner. I think Shedeur has a higher ceiling. He probably has a higher floor. He's a little interception prone of the top guys, but like, he's fun, man, and a little bigger than you'd think.
Yep, he's got a live arm. He is very willing to take some risky throws and to hit the big play. Mobile, not. I mean, I think there's a difference between the top three guys that we're taking. Even Shedeur, I think, might be more mobile than Jaden DeLaura. But his arm and his just ability to try these ridiculous throws, so entertaining. He's got an insane wide receiver core. Dorian Singer, of course, now at USC, which is just stupid.
Not great.
But yeah, man, he is must-watch TV. If there's a late-night Pac-12 game and it's U of A, you got to throw it on.
Agreed. I think outside of Caleb Williams, maybe the best thrower on the move, just because he's willing to try it all, like go off balance, like he can really crank it. That's the thing about Cam Rising for such a great dual threat. When he's on the move, it's so like front loaded. It's like, bro, what are we doing? You're about to like fall forward. Oh God, you just destroyed me. You just
gonna do it?
Obliterated me.
Do it.
No, I'm not gonna do it. Actually, thank you for your suggestion, though. God damn it! I guess I'll go Cam Ward. I like Cam Ward. It's a quick release. The guy's a high-end player. Started the season off better than he ended it. A little, I don't know, just some tough decision making by the end of the season, But if it's between him and Bo Nix and DJ Ugalele as far as decision making, give me Cam Ward. I'm all about that. That's better decision making than those guys. I like the mobility. I like how quick he gets it out. I'm encouraged by the tools. I actually think he's a great, like, modern, even NFL type quarterback. He needs to fine tune a lot. That comeback loss to Oregon will haunt me for many years. But I like the guy, and I like that you can compare him to like Shedeur, and that path is very comparable. Also, you didn't mention Shedeur's offense. That should have you encouraged. Right. And yeah, in some ways, we are drafting for who's going to look the best next season, right?
Right.
So in that sense, I think Cam Ward could take an extra jump and look better and be more reliable than a Bo Nix, and I think he gives you more certainty than DJ Uiagalelei. I mean, Drew Pine in this is very intriguing as well.
Yes, sir.
And then you've got plenty of upside with Dante Moore at UCLA. I'm going to go DJ Uiagalelei with this pick. Oregon State. Love me that offense. It's just big boy football, and they added the ultimate big boy. This guy, as far as like recruiting pedigree, he is right up there with anyone in the conference, if not higher up than anyone. Prototypical size, prototypical arm strength, great dual threat ability. In that offense, he's going to be really scary as a runner. His decision making needs to be fine-tuned. That's going to be the big thing with him. But I'm going upside. I'm going in just believing in the situation and the guy's talent, essentially. I think he could be turned into almost a mix of Penix and Cam Rising if he just gets a few things right,
Yeah, I'm very intrigued to see how this goes with him at Oregon State, because their quarterback play this year was downright pitiful. It was awful at times. I think they were winning games with Gulbranson completing like 6 passes in a game. Yeah, it was crazy stuff to see. So it makes me think like it's a slippery slope, because it makes me think it can't possibly get any worse than what it was this year.
I know.
But DJ put up some real stinkers this year.
Oh, it was awful.
He also put up some impressive games. I remember there was one game that he had, and we all came back on the draft pod the next week, just like, we're back in. It's happening again.
Yeah.
It's going to happen a lot at Oregon State. It's going to be a lot of fun to watch. You did it to me, Dre. I'm taking Bo Nix.
Let's go. Yes.
Now I have to say good things about Bo Nix. I'm trying not to sound like a hater, but he is like the prototypical system quarterback to me. What he does at Oregon just is in lockstep with his skill set. He's able to run around and just kind of extend plays, create chaos with his legs. And he's also able to just uncork these deep bombs with his arm and go over the top of defenses. He actually played really well this year, kind of between those areas in the short and intermediate areas. His one blunder, I guess, I saw in person, the over the head backwards pass. It was incredible to watch against CU. But I got to give it to the guy. He cut a lot of that out of his game last year. Was a legitimate Heisman candidate until very late in the season.
Can't trust him.
You can't trust him. There's a reason he came back and didn't go to the NFL. We'll say that.
It's a great pick. Like on paper, your quarterbacks are once again going to look great. But yeah, Bo Nix is a tough one to trust. Yeah, no doubt.
This is the de facto last pick. I'll pick, and then you'll get the last one, obviously. We'll talk about both of these guys, though.
Right.
I think I'm going to go with the combo of Colin Schlee and Dante Moore, though, over Drew Pine. I know Drew Pine did some things at Notre Dame. We'll talk about him. But Colin Schlee from Kent State was a guy that we actually kind of talked about to potentially transfer into CU, kind of be that backup to Shedeur. He ends up going to UCLA. If I had to guess, he will be their day one starter, week one starter. But when you have a 5-star just sitting in the wings behind him, it takes one bad series, one bad play sometimes, and all of a sudden your job is lost. Very interested to see how this offense looks with Dante Moore. I really like how DTR matured and grew in that UCLA offense. Just really built upon his game year after year. And so getting a guy coming in with a baseline talent of being a 5-star, special things could be happening in UCLA pretty soon.
Well, and you love that offense. I mean, Chip seems to have figured some things out and have the Bruins offense rolling again. Yeah, that's fine. I'll take the higher floor guy once again, Drew Pine. That's Pine with a Y. transferred from Notre Dame, really high floor, nice little dual threat guy, fairly accurate. He'll get the job done. I think he is an upgrade over like Emory Jones last year. And yeah, I mean, I think he'll keep your offense on schedule in that scheme. He can be like kind of more buttoned up Bo Nix, which should sound really good for the Sun Devils right about now.
For sure. As you mentioned, Emory Jones really struggled last year. But I kind of like what Trenton Bourget did at times. I saw it in person when ASU came to Folsom. I mean, the Buffs defense wasn't going to stop anyone last year. But Bourget looked really good. Andrew Pine, though, he actually had a solid season. You'd like to see some more volume, I think. But I don't think he was the starter to start the year for Notre Dame. He only threw 6 passes against Marshall, but only 2,021 yards last season, 22-6 touchdown to interception ratio.
That's not bad.
Yeah, added 2 touchdowns on the ground too. 64% completion. I mean, there's something to work with there. I guess I just wonder, why did you leave Notre Dame though? If you were playing at this level, maybe you got another stud coming in at Notre Dame, but
seemed like the ceiling was a little limited. Him, Graham Mertz, is it, who went to Florida? Oh gosh, and I was just thinking of another like high floor transfer.
Cade McNamara to Iowa.
Yeah, exactly. Thank you. Those are, there's those 3 guys you could kind of like. I think I'd rank McNamara, Pine, Mertz. Yeah.
Mertz is on the bottom.
Yeah, I mean, so it's like, yeah, it's in that tier. Like, it's cool. It's exciting. Like, I think it's better than JT Shrout as far as the like high floor transfers go. You've got a nice track record there. It's what the doctor ordered for ASU, I think.
Yeah, they're getting a lot of transfers into. They'll be a lot of fun to watch. I thought Dillingham was a great candidate for this job. Even I believe we had him in our S tier. So we'll see how that all shakes out. I know the Sun Devil guys are excited about that.
Yeah, as they should be.
Yeah, we'll talk to them soon on this show.
I can't believe
any
this.
other thoughts?
I basically taught you how to draft. I brought Jake into the world. He's been on the draft pod for years with me. We're draft homies. And then he invites me on his show and absolutely bodies me on this Pac-12 quarterback draft. Like, that's not what friends do, Jake. It just isn't. I mean, go line by line. Advantage Jake on round 1. Advantage me round 2. We all love Shedeur here, but I do think advantage you round 3. Round 4 is like what
That's
flavor of what flavor of suicidal are you? I won't go any further than that, and I'm that's probably a bad joke. And then I think you have the advantage in round 5 as well. So it's not great, man. Not great.
I mean, I could see Cam Ward having a better season than Delora for sure.
I honestly believe in the tools and prospect more with Cam Ward.
Right.
Delora's, though, he's younger. Like, you're kind of intrigued by the upside of like a sophomore in a Wildcats offense that seems to be trending in the right direction.
For sure. I mean, he, as you mentioned, when you took him, I mean, you could kind of see he was like figuring it out as the year kind of went on.
I know.
He had some good games, and then there were games where the offense really, really stalled. He'll get it together, I think. I like his arm. I like that he is mobile. I mean, he's not going to like take off down the field like Caleb Williams or Bo Nix would. He's more like that. More like Michael Penix, I'd say, just kind of behind the line of scrimmage. Like he'll do what he needs to do to find a throwing window and get the throw off.
Yeah. No Stanford or Cal quarterbacks mentioned in these at all.
We don't know.
Yeah.
We don't know who they got.
Right.
Jack Plummer transferred out of Cal. So we don't know who's going to start there. Tanner McKee entered the draft. So
what a choice.
Yeah, literally, I gave Yaya the list and I just put question marks for both teams, and it's
Love
like,
that.
well, it's a good thing we're doing 5 rounds.
That's great. Good deal. Yeah, no, you picked it well. You picked it well. Good by you. Well done.
Yaya, let's go to questions, man. What do we got today? Have you guys? Okay, great that this question came up first. We have not. I have not watched the documentary. I don't know if you have, Dre, but we are going to talk about this on Monday. The second is going to be the show that we talk about the first 2 episodes. Ryan
Awesome.
is of course out of town right now, so we'll watch that over the weekend, and then we'll have our thoughts ready on Monday. I don't know when 3 and 4 come out yet, but I'm sure it'll be similar timeline. We'll just give everyone a few days to watch it, and then we'll get everyone in here and we'll kind of talk about it together. Have you actually
That's
watched it at all yet?
on Prime Video. Right?
Yep, Prime.
I was seeing that. I was actually kind of surprised that I was surprised by that announcement, or just seen that yesterday on my timeline. Coach Prime retweet. So no, I was kind of shook by it all. I honestly thought the Prime documentary on Prime Video, it sounded like a bit. It sounded like the kind of bit I would do on my betting show. So no, I'll have to tune in, and then I get to tune in on Monday to the pod and recap it with you all. I'm excited now.
Yes, sir. It's going to be a lot of fun. Next question from Travis. Do you think Shedeur will be in the top third, middle, or bottom bottom third of conference quarterbacks? I think we just kind of broke it down. He's really right between the top and the middle third there. It can go either way. I mean,
Right.
he could, of course, fall off a cliff and have a bottom third season, but
Yeah.
I don't think a lot of us see that happening. So I think that that's really where he fits in already.
Right. He's right in the meat of that top middle, with the upside to maybe squeeze into the top third. Like, he totally has the tools to supplant Cam Rising, but you just got to see it right now. He's more in the wait and see with Delora, with Cam Ward, with DJ and Bo Nix kind of squeezed in there, though it feels like they've got more of a stink to them, but still, so yeah, I think he's right in that.
Conference of quarterbacks, man. The Pac-12 is going to be amazing to watch next year.
Yeah.
I can't wait.
Yeah.
From Tyler Brown, is Mata on scholarship? Haven't seen for sure. This is the first move that I didn't think was necessary. Competition is great, but Becker wasn't an issue. A few things to touch on there. I don't really know about Mata. I've heard preferred walk-on, but it wasn't a reliable source that I heard that from. So stay tuned. But on that front too, I also think it's too early to be worrying about scholarships. I had a lot of people like adding me on Twitter about this, and guys, people are going to leave. It's not time to worry about scholarships yet. I know they're up against that 85 number right now, but a lot of players that are there that are on scholarship probably won't be there within the next year. So even if it doesn't happen this offseason, I think we're still going to see a lot of guys eventually leave the program. And then this is the first move I didn't think was necessary. Becker was great. True. Competition never hurt though, right?
Yeah, and I mean, you wonder, is Becker maybe looking at other options? Is this anticipating another move that may follow? This stuff with recruiting, as you're pointing out about the Scully numbers available, it's super fluid, man.
Yeah,
it's super fluid. Like you have to be thinking 2-3 steps ahead. The Prime and his recruiting staff and all that, coaching staff, you need to be thinking a couple moves ahead, not so much just 1-for-1 stuff right now.
Mm-hmm. Next question, Yo-Yo. You think game day will host CU versus USC? I hope. That'd be amazing. Both teams got to win, obviously. I think if we have a top, I don't even want to say top 10 or top 15. If we have a top 25, maybe a fringe top 25 matchup, I think that game is definitely in the running. Conference schedules haven't been confirmed yet. So like if you pull up the 2023 CU schedule, it's going to show all those games there and obviously on the schedule. But this USC game is in a chunk of like 4 games at the very end that are all on the road. I don't think the dates have been settled yet. I think we'll get an official announcement when the schedule is set in stone. It'd be really cool to have game day for that game though. Penix or Williams versus Shedeur.
That'd be amazing. Yeah, lots to, I mean, you just got to kind of see how the season plays out. it'd be
Mhm.
even cooler if it was a home game for CU that College Game Day was at.
Right. Question from Matt: have we hired a DT coach? I don't think there's a defensive tackle coach specifically, but Nick Williams is the defensive line coach. Previously from Texas A&M. One of the big reasons why they got so many dogs in last year's class, that 2022 class, he was credited with a lot of that.
The
Before he
Aggies,
was
that is.
the Aggies, yes.
Yeah.
Before he was working under Jimbo Fisher at A&M, Williams was a graduate assistant at Georgia. He himself has been given credit for recruiting Smoke Bowie to College Station last year. He was a 4-star 2022 recruit. He's in the portal. He supposedly was at CU at one of these visits. He's been very quiet. We haven't heard anything. Also, it's worth also mentioning, here it is. Dennis Thurman is going to be the director of quality control and head defensive analyst too. This is a guy that has 40, 50 years of defensive coaching experience. Still haven't heard about Mike Zimmer.
I was going to ask.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, you've got some decent chops to coach up that defense and help out on that defensive line for sure.
Yep. Other QBs on CU's roster competing with him. So the only two quarterbacks on CU's roster right now are JT Shrout and Drew Carter. Drew Carter, how do I say this, Dre?
Hey,
Drew Carter is not a threat to anyone's job at the quarterback position. JT Shrout, we'll wait and see. There was some hype when he came in, but last year was rough. And then, of course, you have Ryan Staub and Kason Wiseman, two new recruits coming in.
When I was preparing for the draft, or Pac-12 quarterback draft that you just bodied me in, I was seeing like 43 different players in the Pac-12 took a pass attempt last year. 25 were quarterbacks who took a pass attempt. And I thought, geez, how many of those were quarterbacks that Jake covered? You covered like 5 quarterbacks that took a pass attempt last year?
Yeah, and then Jordan Tyson threw a pass too.
Right, and then I saw Jordan Tyson in there as well. So there you go. That's fun stuff. If Jake can focus on just one quarterback for a couple seasons, he'll be just fine. He won't.
Amazing.
Yeah, like by early October, he had this. His whole preseason was the quarterback competition. By early October, it was McCown hype, and that ended in an injury mere weeks later. So it was a journey behind center for Jake and our DMVR Buffs coverage, no doubt.
Yeah, literally that last game against Utah, I think we found out like 2 days before that JT wasn't playing. So it's like, all right, well, we're probably gonna get Drew Carter. We go down on the field before the game. Drew Carter starts warming up, and then they go into, they do their warm-ups, the routine, and then they go into 7-on-7, like 15 minutes right before they go in the tunnel, right? And that's kind of when you get an idea of a lot that's going on. Maddox Cup is behind center taking snaps in 7-on-7, and I was just like, oh my God, I don't even know what to expect here.
That's crazy.
It was rough.
So you must be expecting them to maybe grab a transfer backup, and I mean, more realistic, what makes probably more sense is try to find a 2023 recruit who wants to come and learn behind Shedeur for a couple years, and then really focus your efforts on loading up that quarterback room more for 24 and 25 probably.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, that's why I think Colin Schlee was a guy that I had my eye on at least for a while. Just a better, he's been in Sean Lewis's offense.
Right.
It seemed like it made sense. I mean, he's got his work cut out for him going up against a 5-star now. We'll see though. They're not done in the transfer portal though, and they can add guys all the way through the summer. I mean, we're going to have a bunch more people once bowl season ends. We'll probably see, I'm not expecting a big wave, but I think we'll see some sort of a wave of players entering the portal. When players start graduating and are actually allowed to transfer as grad transfers, we'll see a lot of movement too. Stay tuned, I guess.
Yeah.
What else do we have?
With Shedeur penciled in as the starter, I mean, don't expect anything crazy like. For
sure. That question from Jay, y'all don't like Kason's potential? We watched Kason's film. Ryan and I did on Tuesday. We liked it. It's just, he's a young guy. We'll see how quick he's able to progress. If you can have one of these freshman quarterbacks, if Staub or Wiseman are able to progress as a player and become that reliable backup for Shedeur, that's the best case scenario, honestly. Forget transfers, forget JT Shrout. That's, I think, the best case scenario for the backup.
Okay, love that.
What else do we got? Or are we done? I think we're done.
Okay.
There it is. Literally after this, I am packing all my stuff up and driving back to Denver, Dre.
He's coming,
I'll be
baby.
there soon, man. Thanks for coming on the show, though, dude. It was fun.
Always a pleasure, my friend. Yeah, man, this was great. Thank to everyone who tuned in and had the comment section popping and has just been part of this whole DMVR Buffs podcast journey the last few weeks. It's been amazing to see you drive safely, my friend. Please.
Yes,
Okay.
of course. We'll be taking it as slow as we can, but also trying to make it home for this basketball game tonight. It just never ends. CU versus Stanford, I believe, at 9 p.m. Not opening conference play. CU has played two conference games prior, but this is like the formal opening of conference play for them. So that'll be fun. I'll be back tomorrow, whether it's Dre, whether it's Hank, Dev, maybe Yaya. Maybe Yaya can produce and host at the same time.
Love that. He's a beast, yeah.
He is a man of many talents.
Yeah.
Thank you guys for listening. Appreciate y'all in the chat. We'll be back tomorrow. Let's go Buffs.